Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Divine Empress, your Fulani sister, and the message that I have for you is that they cannot give you what they don't have. Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Divine Empress, your Fulani sister, and my message right now is they cannot give you what they don't have. So I had this experience where I tried to go get laundry detergent and I wasn't able to get it at the usual place that I get it from. So I went next door, right? And I tried to, for me in my mind, they were open. I knew this should be open, but I tried to open the door and it wasn't opening. This was the left door. And for a second, I questioned, if I was right. And I was like, because I was sure they should have been open. So I looked around for the opening hours. And I was right. They were supposed to be open. And I tried it. I tried again to open the door. I tried it with the right. I tried I tried it on the right side. You know? I say this to say that in this beginning part is that, you know, sometimes we're just not walking through the right door. It might be the next one. It's the next opportunity. It's the next job. It's the next person. That very next thing, that very next place, that very next person you meet could be that one that is meant for you, or that one that's meant to be that blessing or bring that blessing. I always like to think that God doesn't need time to make miracles happen because God can do it all. So, whatever shift that can change your life can happen at any minute, at every second. It can always be that next second that it happens. It can always be that next person or that next door. So I get into the store and I saw this detergent, the Tide, the Simply, and it was big. And I was like, you know what? Let me get this. But then I remembered, I was like, oh, they have the original as well. I saw that. So now I'm looking at these two things and I'm trying to compare, I'm trying to compare the two to see which one I should get. One is the original, but the other one seemed bigger. It seemed bigger, and the bigger one even seemed lower. But then what I noticed is that the bigger one actually, I was like, you know what? This may seem bigger, but it's not full to the top. So if I take this thing based on size, I'm not getting what I think I'm getting because the bottle is not full. And, sometimes there are situations or people or things that seem bigger to us than they actually are. Maybe it's something we fear. Maybe it's somebody. Or maybe it's like something that we don't think we are competent or capable of doing. But these are just illusions. If you have that interest, that's already a sign that it's something that you can handle, something that you can do. If it's already in your heart, that's the guidance that you need to telling you probably that it's something that you can handle, that you are the one for it. And the other thing with this as well is that sometimes things are not advertised in the correct way. Things are not advertised in a way that is reflective to what they really are. Because the other thing that I saw while I was at the store was that they had a sign saying that the original advertisement that they had for the Simply Tide wasn't accurate completely, and they made adjustments and put both the old and the new. And I've been talking about this in the messages. I don't know which order these will be uploaded, but the other messages also have something similar, that there are things in our lives that we are not aware of what they truly are. You might have been hearing something similar repetitively for a reason. Some things or some people may not be as they advertise themselves to be, or as we perceive them from the outside. And so be careful. Be careful and always stay tapped in and connected to your faith to get the revelation that you need to get clarity. The other thing also that I think about with this situation is, like, when you buy a bag of chips, regardless of how big they look, most of that is just air. So it's like, you know, if you look at just at the size of something, sometimes it will seem bigger than it is until you actually open it or look deeper and reflect. Then you will see the truth, or get revealed the truth of what you're really dealing with. You can go by size and get the bigger thing, and then you'll be disappointed to realize that most of that bag of chips is just air in there. Counterfeits will always be made to mimic the original. Like I was saying earlier, it was the Tide original versus the simply one. Some of you might know about this already more than I do, even the yellow one. And as I was going back and forth between the two, I had this thought about counterfeits. You know, situations, like the people and the things will come around to seem exactly like what is meant for us, while they are counterfeits. And we have to be discerning in order to be able to catch it. A fake will always be a fake. You know? Like the two tides are both from the same brand, and they might have most of the same qualities, but they're not 100% the same. And even if it's just that 1% or that 0.1%, it can make a difference depending on what you want. Whatever makes them unique makes a difference in the decision making and the choice depending on what you want. Maybe that 1% extra that that other one has is what will benefit you better. That will be better choice for you. But if you're looking at superficial things like size or other superficial things, then you might end up making a decision that don't serve you, or that you might end up regretting later, because you're looking at the superficial rather than going deeper. Look at the value that you're receiving from the situations, from the options you have, and make a decision based on what you want and what you need. Consider those differences and consider how they apply to you, how they would reflect to you. If you're having to choose between two people, like I said, counterfeits are made to mimic what's real. They might be similar in many ways, but there's going to be something there that's going to distinguish one of them. And you should take that into consideration. And the one that might be better for you might not be the one that you superficial with the superficial stuff, like size, might not be what you would consider. But it's still what carries what's best for you, and it would align best with you if you gave it a chance. because I saw the simply one first, and for some reason I quickly was like, oh, set on that until like something triggered me to be like, look over there, look on the other side, and I remembered about the original. And that's when now I was like, wait a minute, I have the original and I have this other version. Which one should I choose? Sometimes, like, your first choice isn't the only option that is meant for you. You have to be willing to look outside the box. You have to be willing to look outside of your comfort zone and what you're used to. For example, in terms of relationship, you have been dating only a certain type of people. Maybe it's time to change that. Maybe it's time to change that. This doesn't just have to be race or like, culture, religion, stuff like that. It can be anything. Maybe there's a certain type of men physically or women that you date, or with certain personalities, with certain aspirations and dreams, but it hasn't been working out because maybe something else is meant for you. You need to maybe broaden your mindset a little bit and be open, be more open minded about how you go about things, about the options and the possibilities that can come for you. And then maybe the one that you didn't expect is actually the one that's meant for you. Also, because of the fact that I saw the simply one first, I hesitated with the second option. And I had a criteria for the second option. Because I was like, now I saw this one and I know what this one has. So if I'm going to have to change my mind, then the other one has to be equal or has some sort of value that can measure up to what I already saw. And but the second one was the original. And you can argue um, that they both, would do a pretty good job, if they were used. This is beyond, of course, the whole laundry detergent thing. Take the message. I'm using that as an example to deliver the message. Listen to the message and don't take it literally as if like comparing the two laundry detergents, but take it as like situations in your life where you have options. You might have option right now about something or even about a person. And when I say original, it means that in terms of things in life, it means that what is right for you, what is meant for you, what is destined for you. So you have an alternative and then you have what is meant to, what is right, what would suit you best. And I also said this part because, as I was saying earlier, is that like because of what you saw first, you now hesitate and had a criteria for the second one. That can be understandable to a certain extent, but don't let it make you, you know, diminish your options, not give yourself a chance to explore more. Don't settle too fast. Don't settle too quickly. Allow yourself to explore your options until you feel what is right for you. Because, like I was saying, it could always be the next the next thing, the next person, the next door, the next opportunity instead. You will encounter versions of things that may seem right, but they're not all going to be the right one, the right thing, the right place. And you have to be discerning and tapped in with the Most High, with the divine guidance of what you believe in. Sometimes to be able to see through the masks and see through the deceptions and see through the counterfeits and the fakes in order to see which one has the most value and aligns the most with you. Sometimes it's right there, but you can't see it because it's blocked by the things that don't belong. I looked up the differences between the original Tide and the Simply, and one of the things it said was that, you know, the original one is known for the cleaning power and also its value, while the second one, it also cleans well and is lower priced. But looked up the differences between the two detergents, and the original, they said, from what I read at least, that it is known for the cleaning power and its value, while the other one is because of the low price and the alternatives that it has. Like, but it was like I was saying, sometimes you will get options that don't seem bad, but it just depends on what you want. You just have to be careful and consider all things before you make your choice, right? So that you can make sure that you are making choices, um, bringing things into your life that do align with you and that would, satisfy your wants and needs and align with your goals, right? So, and there's certain things that you have to place maybe at a higher priority than others, depending on what you're looking for. And this can go for anything. It can go for relationships. It can go for making decisions about anything in your life. Consider consider what they can bring to your life and reflect on how that affects you, whether it's worth it and it's worth the time or the investment or the money. And the other thing was that from the shelves, I don't know if it's because of how they had arranged it, it seemed like the original was less than the other one because the other one was bigger. But when I went to check out, there wasn't much price difference at all. There was just a little bit, but the original was more than what I thought. So the one that had more value, that was valued the most, that probably carried more weight, even though we didn't, it looked to me at least to be smaller than the other, was the one that had the most value. It was the one that's original. It had more value than I even thought it did. For me personally, it was the original that met my needs the best when I considered all things. But for you, you make your choices. You figure out what you want, what works best for you. Which of the people aligns with you more? Which one of the people would be good for you, good for what you're here to do, what you stand with, which one aligns with your values, with your morals, with your principles, which one aligns with your non-negotiables in life, with who you are and where you're going. Because you want things that are going to be destiny helpers and kind of like destiny helper type energy in your life, and not things that will hinder your path. Because it is a thing sometimes where you can end up having partners and relationships with people who end up being jealous of you because of the anointing that you carry, because of the weight that you carry, because of the blessings, because of who you are. And this is why decisions are so important, and just being discerning and tapping in spiritually for divine guidance is so important, because you're not always going to be able to see these things and know for these people in the physical like that, just based on what makes sense and based on what you observe in the physical. You got to know in the spiritual as well, so that you don't end up with somebody or in situations where now you're dealing with someone who's working against you. You're having a husband, a spouse, or a best friend that's been actively working against you, is jealous of you, is trying to sabotage you. Be careful who you surround yourself with. Be careful who you share things with. Be careful who you allow into your energy, into your life. You may not know everything now, but you don't want to get to a point later where you end up feeling like you've made the wrong decision, because now you're seeing the things and the people for who they really are, but you're too deep in. You always have a choice at any stage, but the deeper you go, the harder it might be to let go. If you're already in a situation like that, there's hope, of course. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep asking for guidance on how to deal with that situation. If you need to leave, prepare, plan your exit so that you can comfortably leave. Don't be afraid to make changes, no matter whatever level you might be at. Your freedom is better. Your peace of mind is better. Your peace is worth it. You're regaining back your power, your life, your authority over your life is worth it. You aligning yourself back to the true version of you, to living authentically, is worth it. It's worth you sacrificing whatever needs to be done for you to have that freedom that you were put on this earth to have. It's your birthright. Freedom is your birthright. Living authentically and following your heart, your passions, your dreams is your birthright. And it's never too late. No, you're not too old. No, it's not too late. Do it for yourself, and maybe do it for those who look up to you as well. Maybe your children, or maybe you have younger family members. But never feel like it's too late to do anything. Take this as your sign and encouragement to keep going, to make those changes. For those who might not be in those situations yet, maybe there's somebody or something that you have to decide on right now. But you have to take this decision carefully. You need discernment. And you might need divine intervention. You got this always. I believe in you. And know that you are always divinely loved, protected, and supported in every way. You got this. Peace, love, and light. And always take every message back to God or whatever you believe in for confirmation, to ask if this is for you, you know. And only take what resonates. Only you know what's going on personally in your life. And remember that you have the free will to choose and make your own decisions. All right. Peace, love, and light always.